When people are stuck in the victim, they will say things like, this is not my problem. And what do they mean by this is not my problem? They mean, I did not create it. So I didn't make the problem, so I don't have to worry about it. And I tell people, well, imagine you're on a plane. You're the pilot of this plane. Okay? And then suddenly an engine catches fire. And then you just stand up and you walk away from the cockpit. And the passengers, horrified, say, what the hell are you doing? So, this is not my problem. This is maintenance problem. I didn't do it. It's not my fault. Well, it's not your fault, but we're all going to die. It is your problem. So, the problem is you're the pilot of your life. So just saying when something goes wrong, well, this is not my problem, I didn't do it. Well, it doesn't matter who did it. If you're suffering, it's your problem. That's the key thing. Anything that bothers you, if it affects you, you make it your problem. Most people don't want to live like this. They take the deal from the devil and say, this is not my problem, I didn't do it. I didn't break it, I don't have to fix it. Well, I have bad news for you. It doesn't matter who broke it. If you're suffering, then nobody has more incentive than you to do something about it. And as the kids say, well, just life is not fair. So this is very unfair. So, well, why should I fix it if I didn't break it? Well, you don't have to. You can choose to live your life with this broken. It's your choice. But then don't complain. Or complain, but, I don't want to listen to you. So this is the key question, is how are you going to respond when life presents you with this circumstance, like this? Every second, this question is true. Anything that happens, what are you going to do when this happens? It's really like a permanent question that a human being has to answer. And we do answer it moment by moment. The problem is we answer it unconsciously. We answer it by reflex. We answer it by repeating stories we have heard from our parents or from other people. And then we start trying to manipulate people, like they also answer the question, oh, I'm going to do what my boss tells me. So the whole model of management, the whole model of working in a company is based on this assumption that we are entities that can be manipulated because we don't make choices. And we use it to excuse ourselves, but we also use it to try to manipulate others. That does not create enthusiasm. That does not bring about creativity, commitment, intelligence, collaboration. It just doesn't happen. So there's all this waste, all this terrible suffering in companies because people work not as human beings, but they're treated like machines, and they treat each other like machines. So why is it so difficult to change that? Well, it's very difficult, as the existentialist psychologists found out, is because we are tremendously afraid of freedom. Because when you're free, you're accountable. That's the problem. You're accountable for your choices. You can't just say the devil made me do it. You have to say, I chose to do it. And then you could be wrong. You could feel guilty. You can be anxious about the future because you could have been wrong about the past and you can make mistakes about the future. That's the nature of freedom. It's much easier when, well, no, the boss told me to do it. You, boss, tell me what to do. I'll just do what you say. And if it goes wrong, it's your fault. Most people want that. So most people want to live a life of, thingness as opposed to humanness. So a very important question is, how can you create the kind of leadership or the kind of mental structure that will transform anxiety into confidence? This is, for me, the essence of the definition of conscious leadership, is creating the conditions where people can take their anxiety about responsibility and feel an internal confidence that it's okay. I'm going to be okay. But not the childish okay, but the real okay. That I'm going to be okay even when things are not okay. There's a level of okayness that transcends success. I call it success beyond success. So I'd like to give you an example of this. And it comes from this question. Think for a moment on a character, just a leader or someone you admire. I choose my favorite, don't give in to evil. So choose a leader, but more important than who you choose, ask yourself the question, what makes this person admirable to you? Why? Why do you admire this person? So in this case, Ludwig von Mises. Why would I admire him? I mean, when I think about his life, when I see what happened, I mean, yes, he was very intellectually powerful. Very intelligent man. But my God, his life, he had so much struggle. It's like, oh, this was not an easy life. It was terrible. He suffered so many negative impacts by all sorts of things outside of his control. And yet, I find him incredibly admirable. He's one of my favorite leaders in the history of the world. Now, this is mine, but you choose yours. So just take a second. It could be a real person like Ludwig von Mises. It could be a character from a movie, Braveheart, for example. You could say, why? Well, love of freedom. I mean, whatever it is. But whoever, it could be, it could be your brother or your parents or, doesn't matter. Any character, real or imaginary, that you admire. But then the question is, why? What is it that makes this character admirable to you? So I'll give you a few minutes just to talk with your partner again. Just who's your character and what makes this character admirable to you? Go ahead, 5 minutes. I don't want to know the character. I just want to know what made this character admirable to you. So what qualities makes a character like the one you chose admirable? Can you just say them out loud? Determination. Very good. Others? Persistence. Stand up for his principles. Very good, yes. Honestidad. Honesty. I'm sorry? Humilde. Humility. Courage. Okay, very good. There's something really, really good about all these things. So there's the good news and there's the better news. There's no bad news. So first, the good news. All these attributes, what do they depend on? Who do they depend on? Do they depend on the outside world or the person? The person. See, this is what being a player guarantees to you. It doesn't guarantee success. You can't say, well, I'm just going to be a player and I'm going to get it done. It doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, in this life, if everything goes really well, we're going to get old, we're going to get sick, and we're going to die. And that's the way it goes. And you say, well, I'm going to be a player, I'm going to stop that. You say, well, good luck. So it's really depressing when you think about it like that. It's like everything is transient, everything is impermanent, everything we build will pass. So how can we find happiness? Well, the one answer is to say what really matters to us is not success. What really matters to us is this thing I call success beyond success. And it's the ability to express my truth in an unconditional way. I can express my values in any situation. Courage, determination, humility. That doesn't depend on the outside world. That depends on me. And I don't have to be anxious about that. I can be anxious about success. It's true. You can make mistakes. You can fail. You play a game, you fail. You lose. And if you think that simply by taking ownership and responsibility, because that's the first thing people in companies say, okay, we're going to be players, and then everything is going to go okay. And it doesn't. It's not true. Sometimes it does, sometimes it does. It's more likely to be better when you take ownership. I believe that. But still, there are many times when, you hit the perfect storm and you're going down. Okay? It's no way you're going to stay afloat. But there's something that is guaranteed. And what's guaranteed is that you can express your truth, your values, your character attributes in any circumstance. That's the good news.